Hello everyone, how are you all? Um, I've come back for another recording to talk about what happened to me on the 18th of August. Today is the 16th of October, um, and I think actually there's more that I should share with the world, to be honest, regardless of what happened. Um, I'm still alive since my suicidal video. And that was something I really did have in mind at the time. But there is something which I would like to disclose and to leave behind. And I've also been told to do it by people. I'm not going to mention any names for protection reasons. But there's a story which I am going to expose. My mind's been taken back to the past since I lived in Ashford, Kent. I used to live under a landlord which was called Scott Bayliss, and I received a numerous amount of abuse from these Polish people. They would constantly peer pressure me, they would constantly find ways to provoke me, irritate my peace, and most of all, control my life. Now, going back to the video which I made after the incident on the 18th of August, when I mentioned that I got myself into a troublesome situation. This is the situation that I'm talking about. These people that had a problem with me and that caused me all of this abuse, I believe, and I can't prove it, but I believe they had me followed around in cars by people. I was followed around in Ashford in about sometimes it could be about 2-3 cars a day. No, sorry, it wasn't every single day, but when it happened, sometimes it could be 2-3 cars a day. And these people that were in cars used to toot at me. At times, I'd have people sort of like put their hand up to me and also stick their finger up. What concerns me the most when this was happening was how the hell did these people that I didn't know nothing about know who I was? They must have some sort of identification, recognising that it's my face. So I believe somehow my picture's been stolen or taken from somewhere. I'm making this video to leave behind, most of all, because I'm still having problems, believe it or not, since I ingested the food from the Canterbury Kent Wetherspoons Westgate Inn. Now and again I can still feel a little bit sicky. I get dizziness. I've been having abdominal pains all over the abdominal areas in my body. I've had to go for an ultrasound. I've gone to doctors so many times about all of these issues which I've been having. There's been times when doctors have said they think it's to do with anxiety or depression at the time. However, I know that certain chemicals which you ingest in your body, regardless of whatever it was, and we don't know what it was, this food that I had ingested, we don't know what it was. And if I have a slow chemical poisoning, which is onset problems, which is possible, and maybe doctors just don't feel comfortable letting me know that it is possible because they don't want to scare me. But if I've got that, I will die, and it will kill me. I know that, and I still feel... I'm feeling more certain that that's what's caused me the problem, because I've only felt unwell since I had this issue. It's been about, say, 2 months now. We're coming up to another 18th. So two days away, it's going to be the 18th of October. And that's just, I think that would be just about 2 months gone since the problems happened. And I do know that a chemical poisoning of any kind, not all of them, but some of them can kill you months later. So going back to why I'm making this video recording is to show to everyone and broadcast and expose of these evil cunts, these evil bastards that used to control my life and cause me loads of trouble that long ago. when I lived in Ashford. Now, the reason also why I'm making it is because I can't think of any other reason or anything else that would have caused this problem to happen. There's nothing else in my life that's been serious enough for someone to want to kill me off or have me poisoned. This was the only problem which I'd had off of these people, which were dangerous. You know, they would cause me so much trouble. They had taken out knives to me in the past as well. I'd had knife incidents with them, and truthfully, hand on my heart, I had to report them to the police up to 15 to 20 times with different reports about the peer pressure they were causing me within the property, in the shared house of Scott Bayliss property, as well as even incidents happening out in the town, and also with what was happening in the cars of these men that were following me or spotting me on the street and then sticking their fingers up and tooting their cars at me. It caused me a lot of aggravation, and living with the problem in somewhat of a way, it made me an unwell person. I came down with severe anxiety and depression because I was becoming very paranoid about everyone that was around me. I was paranoid where I lived. I was paranoid even about the landlord, because I'd lived with the landlord for about 6-7 years, and I got personally connected to a person that he knew very well in the property as well. And it was only really since then that my life started to change. Most of all, the awareness that I'm raising overall is the abuse that these people cause me, and the fact that I believe this is a connected conspiracy, which I am not scared to speak out about because of the abuse that they cause me. I believe definitely that they are connected to people, and they are very dangerous, and they are very sick. Now, if something's to happen to me months on from now, or up until later on, and this is the only reason that I leave behind, to let all you people know that it would have been the only problem that would have caused my problem today. It's the only thing. I'm not a drug dealer. I've never been involved in drugs. I don't have anyone in my family that's had like a connection like that. They're not in any troubles of any kind. So I don't believe it'd be something silly like that, and someone's just thought, oh, well, to get back at someone else, let's poison Guy and try and kill him off. This is the only situation which I've been through which was dangerous, and which was dangerous enough for anyone to have done something to me. Now, as paranoid as this sounds, I'm also going to share with you, around the time when I was putting up with all of the abuse and always reporting the situation to the police, I'm not saying that police officers didn't do enough, but really, in a way, they didn't, because not enough was being done. Each time I was making the reports, all I was getting is visit the police station, visit the police station. In the end, I had no offers from the police to say that they wanted to visit the property and talk to the people about the abuse they were causing me. It was almost as if the police were too scared to make the move. It was as if they were too scared to operate, as if they were too scared to go to these people and talk to them or threaten them to be under arrest for the problems they caused me. I can prove a part of the problems which the people caused me from Ashford, Kent, these Polish two people that I had to live with, which were sickly abusive towards me, because I took a recording of them on the street, where they abused me and followed me out of my door when I was living with them in the same property, and they followed me into Ashford, Kent town, and they threatened that I leave the property or they're going to have me hurt on the streets. And I believe at the time, when the man was out on the street, the partner of the girlfriend, he had a knife tucked up in his hand. You'll see this in the video recording. He's got like a shiny weapon inside his hand, curled up in his hand, and I believe it was one of these penknife type things which people use, to sometimes threaten people, and it wouldn't be the first time. So I can prove that something was going on, and that this behaviour which I was putting up with had nothing to do with me. I've never known why these people had some sort of a hold on me, why they caused this trouble, and why they were on my case so much. But most of all, I will leave on this recording, in case something does happen, worst of all later on, that these people almost had this thing against me and this thing over me where they would do what they possibly could to control me, which was so weird and unusual in the mind and even to myself, that I believe that it's almost like as if they use me in the middle of something in order to playground game me and to play with my mind. And the weird question is why. I lived with this landlord for, like I said, 6-7 years, and I'd lived in about 2-3 different properties of his, which I can comfortably tell you, I'm going to tell no lies. I've received a lot of abuse living under the landlord, from other people, very threatening, abusive people, about at least 3 times, and that's why I moved to the 3rd property in the first instance, because of abuse which I was putting up with. And this is why I call the situation a conspiracy. And the reason for it being is because it does add up to something. There is something unusual about it, which not even I can literally prove. But I did used to try to tell the police this, even on the phone, as crazy as it sounds. And maybe sometimes just a little bit as paranoid as it sounds. It does sound a little bit paranoid to just say something's a connected conspiracy when you can't prove it. And you haven't got the complete... you haven't got the complete evidence to prove that. But all I know is that whatever it was that I was going through and what it was that I put up with, there was something going on, and it happened for a reason. And the reasons that it was happening, it didn't add up. Whatever it was I was meant to have done to have upset these people never made any sense to me. Why they in the end had to cause me this abuse, why they had to cause me this peer pressure. And that's just that. I never got personally involved with them or anything, but they just never left me alone and caused me as much trouble as they possibly could, which was also affecting my mental well-being in my mind psychologically as well, because they were making me very paranoid. I'm going to quickly say on this recording, because we've come to 12 minutes and something seconds, that if this recording cuts out, that's because I've not got enough space on my phone, but I still will use the recording. I think really I've pretty much covered everything, really, thinking about it. But I think this world has the right to know, because I think something's going on in this world today, how things have changed and how these foreign people used to treat me and how they caused me this trouble. Are they the types of people that have come to this country to make a problem with people of some kind? Why did I receive this abuse? Why did it happen to me? Why have I been used in the middle of a problem which I didn't create for myself? And I received all this abuse to the point that I had to keep reporting it. Reporting it to the police, and it was the only way that I felt safe. I only felt safer going to the police because of how abusive they were. Another thing that concerns me, and it will sound rather paranoid, but like I said, I've got nothing to hide for these evil, nasty people which caused me such aggression and abuse where I was living, that in the end, once I had made these police reports and I had told the police all the information, I told them about getting followed in cars since I left my property, followed around in the town, everything that was said. I've even told people that I know of that I even felt that I had police cars following me on the streets. And I know it sounds a bit paranoid, but bear with me when I tell you this. I had police cars that would follow me every single time I'd leave the property that I live in, even in the property that I live in now. And bearing in mind, this is when I've moved area. Things are not a secret today. It is possible to say that there's this technology which tracks you on your mobile phone now, but by your telephone number. It made me paranoid enough that I've even changed my mobile number a good few times because of that happening. And it's even made me wonder whether we can trust our own police service today. And it was almost as if certain people that work within the police definitely do know what's going on here, whether it's some sort of a secret or whatever, or these people are even possibly connected to a secret society of some kind. How do I know? But all I know is the trouble that they caused me and the shit that I went through, and that they never left me alone for months. And in the end, I had to leave the property because of that problem. Also, I will say, to be truthful, that I left that property in Ashford, Kent also because I was in some trouble with my arrears with the landlord, which I could have knocked down a little bit more, but I decided not to because I didn't want to stay in the property anyway. So then I had to move to Chatham, Kent, because at the time I'd lost my last job and I wasn't working. I was desperate to leave the property, and then I found a landlord which could support me on housing benefit. So I had to move to Chatham, Kent after the Ashford, Kent, and now I'm living in Canterbury, Kent, and that's why I'm sitting where I am now. And you'll see me obviously around this area where people that know of Canterbury, Kent will recognise that. And you're going back to the police situation. I can't prove whether what the police were doing, and it is just a suspicion. And I'll let you know also, without going into absolutely everything about what I wrote on a police report I made. I made a police report as well, where obviously it goes to a higher sort of police area, mentioning to the police before that I felt insecure about the fact that I felt police cars were following me since I reported the incidents. And I mentioned that because I felt that my privacy and that was being breached, and I felt that they had the right to know, and I didn't feel comfortable with how it felt. I've even asked the police on the phone before, are the police keeping me under some sort of a protection and watching me deliberately? But it's even weird that if the police definitely were watching me, as paranoid as it sounds, how did these people in particular know who to look for? That is a question which I can't be too sure about even now. And another reason why I made a report about the police was because I was absolutely disgusted when they'd went to the mental health team about me, which I will honestly admit, because when I reported incidents about another property which I lived in of people being abusive towards me, I'd found something in my food, and I'd also found a lot of burning on top of hobs, where there was a lot of, like, it looked like a lot of oil was burning on them, and it's possible it was oil, but when you would turn it on to burn this stuff off, this smelt very toxic. So it did concern me, and it might have been a bit paranoid for me to have reported that, but I reported it in case they were up to something and doing something at the time, because it had concerned me. And since I reported it, the police did go to the mental health team about me, and that impression that just gave me is that they were just trying to say that I was just a person suffering with some sort of a mental illness, and I was too paranoid and that I didn't have the right to report it. I reported the situations also because of the abuse I was putting up with from the people where I was living, and that's one of the reasons why I also reported it, because I got sick and tired of it. I didn't feel safe. And this is one of the reasons why I kept calling the police, making all of the reports, because it was my way of making myself feel more secure, because it made me feel that insecure when I was putting up with all of this abuse which was happening. And that's really absolutely everything that covers everything that had been happening and going on at the time. And honestly, hand on heart, if it would have been anything for everyone else to know out there, whether, you know, we got talking through Facebook and things or whatever, or, you know, it's because of my YouTube videos, which some people had watched, that this would have been the only thing that it would have been connected to. I don't believe what happened to me in the Canterbury, Kent, Wetherspoons, Westgate Inn was an accident. I don't believe it. In my opinion, I just don't believe that this chemical, like pinky reddish substance that was found in my jacket potatoes was an accident of any kind. I think that this has definitely been set up, and most likely to shut me up for the reports that I've made against the people, and possibly that I think they fear that because of the way that they treated me and that the abuse they caused, that they're scared about information about them getting out there. I can't see how this was an accident at all, and the reason for it being is because the amount that I did see on the jacket potatoes, even when I told the staff that work in Wetherspoons, there's about 3 members of staff, 3 male members of staff, a manager, and the manager you can see in the recorded video when I was being sick in the toilet, which is on my Facebook account. And 2 of his workers had no compassion, no care about what had happened. They wasn't sorry. You know, they didn't act sorry. Regardless of whether I was meant to spot this colour in the food or not. And even when I asked a manager in there, the one that you'll see on this recording, which is on my Facebook, to call me an ambulance because I felt unwell and started to feel sick and I got this like body temperature, it was like he made this piss take out of me by saying, "Oh, would you like me to write the address down? Would you like me to write the address down?" I said no. I said, "Would you please tell the paramedics for me so that they can come to the area of where I am now in order to see to me quicker, because he knows the address, he knows the postcode and stuff." And it just felt more or less that when I was asking him to help me out, that he just didn't even seem really the slightest concerned. Another man that works in the Wetherspoons Westgate Inn in Canterbury, Kent, also is off Grindr. This is a gay community like app where gay people can connect. It's usually for sex. It's meant to be a dating app, but it's not used for that. I don't know him personally, but I've come across him a few times. He's off of that. It's strange that he seems to have blocked me on Grindr since the incident had happened, and he's one of the guys that I also pointed out to show him the stuff which was in my food. And it's just a lot of strange stuff going on, basically, and something doesn't fit. There's just something's not right, and something definitely is going on, and they know. And there's the story. There you have it. So now this recording now makes sense to what I had said in my suicidal video when I was thinking of taking myself off of the Canterbury Kent train bridge. I can't remember the name of the road. I'd visited that place about 3-4 times when I was feeling so unwell after ingesting the food. Bearing in mind that it was only about after 9-10 days that my body started to have improvements and I started to feel a little bit more within myself, strangely. But still today, I still get some abdominal pains. I'm still getting some chest pain every now and again, which is just all weird symptoms. Slight dizziness now and again, but the dizziness is gone. I still get a slight sort of sickiness feeling going on. And most of all, I'm just hoping that, I don't have a slow, ongoing, on-set, slow chemical poisoning of any kind, regardless of whatever it was. And there you have the story. And like I said on all the other videos, I thank you all very much for being supportive and, talking with me and things, and people being interested from, wherever really, friends, whether family, whether, through Facebook, through the YouTube video, whatever it is. But nothing more can be said anyway, apart from the truth and what had been happening to me. And the only people that are not going to like that are the people that are against me and the people that cause me this trouble. So there's really nothing else that I can say. I'm thinking right now to make sure that I've not missed anything out at all. And as far as I'm aware, and as far as I can think clearly in my mind, is that I've told you pretty much everything that you need to know. And it is just weird that it's been like months down the line with things still happening, that all of a sudden I go to a restaurant and then I realise this stuff in my food. And yeah, it's just a very interesting story, which I don't think is a coincidence. And I tell everybody that I think this is some sort of an evil, sick secret where I've been, like I said before, used in the middle in some way, and these people, it's obviously upset them, the fact that I've somewhat stood up for myself and reported their behaviour to the police. And there's nothing more that I can say for this recording, apart from the fact that this information will be left out there for people to have an opinion, judge, take sides, regardless. But one thing for sure, which I will say, is that these people that you meet, you don't always see them for who they are. You know, the way I would describe them is they're like a lion. Okay, when they seem tame until they show the teeth, and there's a different side to them. You know, they'll play your mind games and abuse you in any way that they possibly can. I have never come across such sick-minded people in my life when I part of this abuse from Ashford, Kent. And it bugs me today what these people had against me. It's such an unusual thing. I've never come across people like it. And I do believe that they're connected to someone, or say something. They've got some sort of a connection to something strange, and they had a strange thing on me as well. Why should I have anything to hide from the world or from people when I'm the one that's gone through this? They've caused me this shit. They've caused me this trouble, and I shouldn't have to part with it. And I had to part with it. And no matter what I did to avoid the situation, nothing changed. I even had to live in my room in Ashford, Kent, in the Scott Bayliss property, cooking in my room and avoiding the kitchen because of their abuse and because of being scared that one day a knife would be taken out on me and that a knife would have been used at some point. So I was living in my room for months, high up in this attic that I used to live in. When I used to live in, it was 11 Somerset Road in Ashford, Kent it was. And I used to have to live in my room all of the time. And sometimes just to make myself feel safe in the property because of the shit that was happening and how insecure in the head they made me feel, I used to now and again stick a knife in my bag. And I think I put in like another weapon. I think I even had sometimes a hammer in my bag, because I used to become that paranoid about walking past them in the house and coming across more problems because of the abuse that they were causing me, until I left the property and got away from them. Anyway, this recording's only going to go on even further if I've got more to say, and I've disclosed what I wanted to expose. And it's now 28 minutes going on. And most of all I can say is, going back to my suicidal video, that I make no secret of my religion. And another, maybe this could have been a thing that caused this situation. Maybe because the people that I lived with were connected, as crazy as it sounds, to witchcraft. I remember the girlfriend telling me that she was connected to like witchcraft. She used to tell me she was a witch, and I told her at one point that I believed in God. And I always had a bit of a feeling, regardless of how abusive they became, that they were perhaps devil worshippers, and devil worshippers despise Christians. So maybe that's what I was judged for. Maybe even a cult. Maybe they played a game with me in some sort of a cult of theirs, which is possible. But what I was going to say is God bless, and may the Lord be your guide, be a guide to all of you, and keep him on your side. And God bless absolutely everyone, because at the end of the day, I still believe in my belief that in the end, all of this shit going on all over this world, and for those that believe that we're waiting on him to arrive, is that all of this will be finished. You know, all of this abuse, whether it is connected to devil worshippers or whatever else, and whatever shit that it is we're going through today, and being controlled like that by people in the world is just not, it's just not acceptable, regardless of who they are. Me personally, I don't have a problem with a devil worshipper. It's everyone's choice to have their own belief, whether whatever religion they believe in, that is their choice, and everyone has the right to believe in whatever they believe in. I never disrespected them for who they were, and I didn't expect them to disrespect me for what I believe in or who I was. But they obviously didn't have no respect for me and hated me. So there, I leave the information with you all, and this goes out to all of the ones I love in the family, friends, everyone that's been bothered to listen and take the time to understand and give me an ear to understand me, as well as listen to what I've had to say. So much love to absolutely everyone that's basically supported me, been on my side and listened, and most of all, God bless you all and take care.